So, what's up guys, Coach Nate here from the Own Experience. So, I want to tell you a little story. Years back, I was training for my second or third marathon. I was hyped. I was totally stoked on the marathon thing. I loved this identity of being a runner. And like many other runners out there, I wanted to get better. I wanted to run my marathon faster. So I was on a quest to find that information from books, magazines, really on how to tweak my mileage, the workouts, the long runs to get there. But I stumbled across this one guy who focused on run technique. I met this guy and I wasn't expecting much because, hey, I just run a marathon. My run form was pretty dialed in. But he handed me this weird clippy thing and turned it on, and it had these beeps to it. And he had me run around in circles in the parking lot to a series of these beeps. And what I didn't realize at the time was that he was trying to get me to run to different rhythms, to adjust my cadence. And running to those beeps changed everything. It felt super weird at first, and it wasn't easy to do, but it made me realize how my foot was striking the ground. It made me realize how I was carrying myself, my posture, when I was relaxed and when I was tight, when I was falling apart at the end of the runs. This was the keys to the castle.
So the first thing that happened to me when I started to run with this higher cadence is I liked it, but I was getting pretty tired and I was having serious doubts on whether or not I could sustain this, because I realized that I was actually just running all my runs faster, like 5, 10, 15 seconds a mile faster. And I was like, man, I'm getting smoked. This cadence thing may not be for me. And what I didn't realize was this very important math equation for running speed. Remember, running speed is a function of the length of my stride, how big my steps are in between, and the number of steps I take in a certain minute. What I just did was increase the number of steps I just took. And if I kept my stride length the same, guess what? I'm going faster. So if I want to compensate by running the same easy effort level, which I want to do, then when I increase my stride rate, I need to decrease my stride length. And the best example of this is, hey, I can run with a high cadence in place. Hey, I'm not moving anywhere. And then I can slowly start to practice running more and more and more this way. It's also a really cool thing for those of you that tend to overstride a little bit. When I start running in place like this, it's impossible to overstride. You're not landing on that heel at all. And so it's a great practice to do that and to start to build up that way. Look, remember, if you tweak your run form, your body's gonna feel a little extra sore, which is why I personally use GoodFOR Pain, which shout out is the sponsor of today's vid. I like to use it before and after hard workouts. I like to double up with my mobility work, more on that later, but they have a special deal just for you in the description of this video. So the second problem I came across, my second struggle, was trying to run at 90 cadence all the time. I was kind of obsessed with this number. I heard that this was this magical number, and I struggled with it. I couldn't maintain it for very long, even when I shortened my stride. And what I've since discovered is that 90 is actually not a magical number at all that every single runner should run at. In fact, it's gonna vary depending on how long your legs are. Longer legs, longer pendulum, it's gonna be a slightly slower cadence, vice versa for our shorter runners. It's also gonna vary within the run that you're doing. Are you going uphill or downhill? Are you running a fast finish, or are you doing a longer, slower, steadier cruise? Now, the other big factor here is where we're starting from, because let's be honest, yes, cadence is gonna vary depending on your leg length and what you're doing, but a lot of us, the cadence is just too low. It's not near where it should be. And if it's really low, like mine was at the time, jumping all the way up to 90 just feels like a bridge too far, and we're not gonna succeed. So to figure out where we want to be, we need to know where we're starting at. And that's where a baseline cadence test comes in. You're just going to pull out a stopwatch and for 60 seconds, count the number of steps on one side for that time. That's gonna be your baseline number. From there, we'll be able to play with your baseline cadence and gradually bring it up to that 85 to 90 plus range that we want most runners to be at. Then, my friends, we are going to do some cadence specific runs designed to get ourselves exposed to running at gradually higher cadences for shorter focused periods of time. We're gonna take that base number that we just used, let's say it is 80, and we're gonna run 1 minute at 80, and then we're gonna alternate 1 minute of running at base plus 2. And I like to go back and forth. You could do this for 10 minutes, so you've got 5 total minutes at that base plus 2 higher cadence. Once that feels good, you're then gonna move to alternating between your base cadence, what feels natural, normal for you right now, and base plus 4 steps per minute on that one side. So we're back at 80, that would be 84 steps per minute. Again, accumulating 5 total minutes there. And once that feels good, retest your baseline cadence and you will be surprised to see, or maybe not too surprised to see, that that number has started to inch upwards in the direction we want it to go. But look, I get it. If this feels like a little too complex for you, a little too much work, we've actually created a whole Run Cadence Challenge program in the Run Experience app that does all the work for you. You just need to open up each workout, and it'll take you through these cadence progressions yourself. Pretty cool. Link in the description of this video. So a thing I started to find too was the beeps. They were getting annoying, not only on me, but my training partners. And I wanted to use them less, the metronome less, and see, hey, can I just actually look at the cadence data I'm getting in my watch? Isn't that the same thing after all? And I quickly realized it was not the same thing at all. It was sort of like trying to dance and then listen to a song afterwards and see if you actually were on rhythm or not. We need that real-time feedback in order to quickly adjust to these new rhythm changes and these new movement patterns. That's really what this is, right? Running in rhythm is what cadence is. And I quickly realized that when I was fatigued, when I was distracted later in my runs, going uphill, going downhill, my cadence would either lag or it was slow to change, and I would see a drop in my performance. So using those audible beeps were huge in keeping me focused and on track with my running. Like, the best way to use it, honestly, is just to at least have one run a week where you have it beeping at you the whole time so you can kind of stay in rhythm. But if that's really grating on you, what I recommend is that every 5-10 minutes you do a metronome check-in where you have that metronome play for a minute or two, get back on rhythm, turn it off for 5-10 minutes, keep running, and then do it again. I love using the Metro Timer app. I'll link to that down in the description of this video as well, one of my personal favorites. Now, even making gradual changes, working with an instructor, being smart with my metronome settings, my body was sore from this after a couple weeks, right? Because literally, I was asking my feet to land slightly on the ground differently, my Achilles to load slightly differently, my muscles to fire slightly differently. And hey, we all need like 4 to 6 weeks to adapt to something new. So I doubled up my mobility and self-care work. When I was doing cadence stuff, I made sure I really got into my calves and my hips or other things that were bothering me. And what I also used, and what I recommend for you to use as well, is a product like GoodFOR Pain, which is today's sponsor. We're super stoked to partner with them on this. They have a really incredible product here, guys. It is something that doesn't just numb you, right? Actually, we don't believe that at all at the Run Experience. This actually works with your endocannabinoid system to help lower levels of inflammation and get you back training. This is like kind of the future, I think, of recovery and pain management for everyone, but especially for runners. I was really curious about how this worked, and they actually connected me with their chief medical officer, and they agreed to let me film this really cool 15-minute interview to share with you guys. So if you want to watch that interview, we dive deep more into how the endocannabinoid system works, what ingredients in here really make it work the way that it does, how safe it is, how effective it is. There's a link in the description of this video to go check that out while you're there. Definitely take advantage. They have an incredible deal just for you. You can get a pain pump and a box of grab-and-go packets worth 25 bucks. You can get these grab-and-go packets for free if you purchase one of these. I really used to think that mileage and long runs were king, but I realized that actually how we run, how we move our body is even more important, because if we can't do that well, then we can't even sustain the mileage needed to get to our goals. And yeah, I'm still obsessed with running cadence to this day. I've played with it on and off for the last 15 years. I've shared it with thousands of runners in person and online. And in fact, playing over my shoulder right here, I've got another video with a few more cadence tricks up my sleeve. I mess around with a jump rope. I talk a little bit more about the differences and subtleties between the cardiovascular load and the neuromuscular load that cadence puts on us and how we can be successful with it. Go check that out. I'm going to enjoy filming in this beautiful sunny day. You keep working on your cadence and earning those miles. I'll see you in the next video.